Hi, I'm Lunarcraft, and I'm here with the weekly AstroTarot. And as usual, I will be focusing in on a particular star sign. And this time round, it's your turn, Leo. As always, I will start with the general astrological information, then moving on to how, if any, yes, there are some astrological implications, indications for you, Leo. And finally, I will be drawing out 3 tarot cards and seeing what messages there are within those. So let's kick straight off. And I've got to say, it's another busy week in the skies above. Starting out with the moon in Aquarius, squaring with Uranus in Taurus, meaning that we may display more eccentric behavior, be more headstrong, fanatical, irritable, and changeable. Also, be mindful that abnormal habits and self harm could also appear. Now, while we're talking about the moon, you have a new moon on the 1st of February, where emotions are highly charged, with the feminine aspects being emphasized. Also, this particular new moon marks the beginning of the Chinese New Year and the Year of the Tiger. Now, those born under the sign of the Tiger tend to be confident and brave, magnetic, idealistic, thrill-seeking, and are likely to have tendencies towards being arrogant and selfish. Next, the moon in Pisces conjuncts with Jupiter, also in Pisces. And that could well lead to significant financial gains as well as social success. Then, 3rd of February, Mercury returns to its direct movement, no longer retrograde. And the moon in Pisces is sextile with Mercury in Capricorn. That means they're at 60-degree angle. And that will lead us to being able to make sound judgments, develop an aptitude for learning, and communication skills being heightened. Towards the end of the week, we see the male sun in Aquarius sextile with the female moon in Pisces. The communication between the male and female principles is absolutely fine. There's no problems from emanating from that at all. And you will probably find that relatives and friends are full at the moment. Then finally, at the end of the week, the moon moves into Taurus and helps us to preserve and increase money and material possessions. Security is essential to us. These particular days, we're likely to be very focused on our family and our home. Okay, moving on to the more specific star sign specific information. People born in the sign of Leo have excellent prospects to realize good fortune and perhaps wisdom from your significant other. If, however, you are single, the indications are showing that you could meet your future life partner. If you are a business owner or you manage people, don't underestimate your workforce, because workers generate problems for you. And then moving on again to look at the tarot cards, I'm going to draw out 3 cards and look at what messages they are passing on to you for this coming week. So 1 and that one, 2 and that one, 3. Okay, let's whip them over and see what we've got. Okay, in the opening position is the Fool. Now, I'm not suggesting that you're a fool, but he is known as the eternal optimist and is ready to leap into anything in a spontaneous and carefree manner. This is perhaps the message being conveyed to you at this time. Lighten up a bit. In the middle, we've got the 9 of Pentacles that acknowledges you being in control of the situation around you and your ability to be resourceful when that is needed. Then finally, a card that makes many people shudder. It's the Tower, but it's suggesting that you learn, or you should be ready to learn, to adapt and adjust quickly should circumstances change for any unanticipated reason. This ability will contribute to you achieving overall success. Hi, Virgo. I'm going to start by saying it's going to be yet another busy week in the skies above. Starting out with the moon in Aquarius squaring with Uranus in Taurus. And that means that we may well be a little bit more eccentric, more headstrong, fanatical, irritable, and changeable. Also, be mindful that abnormal habits and self-harm could also appear. We've also got a new moon on the 1st of February, where emotions will be highly charged and the feminine aspects will be emphasized. This particular new moon also marks the beginning of the Chinese New Year and the Year of the Tiger. Those people born under the sign of the Tiger tend to be confident, brave, magnetic, idealistic, thrill-seeking, arrogant, and selfish. Next, the moon in Pisces conjuncts with Jupiter, also in Pisces, and that could lead to significant financial gains as well as social success. On the 3rd of February, Mercury returns to its direct movement, no longer retrograde. And the moon in Pisces is sextile, that is at 60 degrees, with Mercury in Capricorn, leading us to towards making sound judgments, developing an aptitude for learning, and with our communication skills will be heightened. At the end of or towards the end of the week, the male sun is in Aquarius, sextile with the female moon in Pisces. The communication between the male and the female principles is absolutely fine. There's no problems arising from it. And you may well find that relatives and friends are particularly helpful. Then finally, at the end of this week, the moon moves into Taurus and helps us to preserve and increase money and material possessions. Security is essential to us. And these particular days, we are going to be very focused on family and home. So, how does all that link in with you, Virgo? All I can say is, what a time is stacking up for you. Let's start with your relationships. And you could find yourself being very actively connected, and this will contribute to keeping your partner calm and very happy. Your work life might not be so satisfying at the moment, but indications show that by being self-employed may be a good way for you to go. However, use this coming month to carry out some serious research, so enabling yourself to make a fully informed decision. And just a note for the parents among you, be prepared for your offspring to want to talk to you about something that is troubling them, but they're not sure of how to start that conversation. So be mindful of that and give them opportunities. Invite them to join you in conversation. Right, moving on to your tarot cards. And that one. 3 drawn out. And 3 turned over. Okay. In the first position, the opening card is the King of Swords, who acknowledges your ability to get to grips with situations, often by adopting an objective outlook, able to get to the heart of the matter and come up with workable solutions. In the middle is the Ace of Pentacles, and that points to your abilities, as mentioned with the King of Swords, but also that you have the courage to start afresh when it's called for. This particular ace also shows that you can achieve practical outcomes that lead towards prosperity. And then finally, you've got the Seven of Pentacles that suggests you will soon see the fruits of your labours, because by and large, you make sure that you are on target to complete projects and tasks, and that sets you up very nicely. Hi, Libra. I will start with general astrological information, then consider any astro information that is particular to your star sign, and finally I'll be picking out 3 tarot cards and looking at the way that, or looking at the messages that they carry. So let's kick straight off. And I'll say before I get going, it's yet another busy week in the skies above. Starting with the moon in Aquarius squaring with Uranus in Taurus, meaning that we may be somewhat eccentric, headstrong, fanatical, irritable, and changeable. But please also be mindful that abnormal habits and self-harm could also manifest. We have a new moon on the 1st of February, and emotions are going to be highly charged, and the feminine aspects will be emphasized. This new moon also marks the beginning of the Chinese New Year, the year of the tiger. And those born the sign of the tiger tend to be confident, brave, magnetic, idealistic, thrill-seeking, and with a tendency towards being arrogant and selfish. Next, the moon in Pisces conjuncts with Jupiter, also in Pisces, and that could lead to significant financial gains as well as social success. Then on the 3rd of February, Mercury returns to its direct movement, no longer retrograde. And the moon in Pisces is sextile, that's at 60 degrees, with Mercury in Capricorn, which leads or will probably lead us to make sound judgments or developing an aptitude for learning, and our communication skills being heightened. Then towards the end of the week, we see the male sun in Aquarius sextile with the female moon in Pisces. The communication between the male and female principles is absolutely fine. No problems coming from that at all. You're also likely to find that relatives and friends are helpful at this time. Then finally, at the end of this week, the moon moves into Taurus and helps us to preserve and increase money and material possessions. Security is essential to us, and these particular days we're going to be very focused on our family and home. Right, sorry about the pause there. Moving on to look at what is specific for you, Libra. It's shaping up to be quite a testing time for you. However, if you remain alert to what is going on around you, you should be able to navigate your way to a more favourable position. If you are your own boss, then an area that might be worth investigating is buying and selling properties or assigning key personnel to take on vital responsibilities in your stead. But be vigilant if you are presented with documents for signing, such as contracts. Make sure you are fully aware of the requirements, particularly those that have been included in the small print. As far as your love life is concerned, if you are in a new or fairly new relationship, keep your eyes wide open and be aware that they may not be as genuine as you first thought. Okay, drawing out the 3 tarot cards for you. There's 1, there's 2, and 3. Right, let's get these turned over and see what's what. Okay, first up is the Queen of Pentacles, who shows up to acknowledge your dependable attitude and your matter-of-fact approach. When it's called for, you are very capable of using creativity and resourcefulness in order to meet deadlines and reach desired outcomes. Then right in the middle, we've got the World. And that shows you completing what you set out to achieve and being rewarded for your hard work. It's also reminding you that it's good to celebrate the achievement of targets and goals. Then in the final position, we have the 9 of Cups, which pictures someone who is very obviously pleased with what has been achieved. It also carries a message to count your blessings before you embark on the next project. Hi, Scorpio. As always, I will start with the general astrological information and then move on to how particular things relate to your star sign, and finally drawing out 3 tarot cards to get the messages from them for the coming week. So let's jump straight in, and I'll start by saying it's yet another really busy week in the skies above. Starting out with the moon in Aquarius, squaring with Uranus into that we may display more eccentric behavior than normal. We may be more headstrong, fanatical, irritable, and changeable. But also be mindful that abnormal habits and self-harm could manifest. On the 1st of February, we have a new moon where emotions will be highly charged and the feminine aspects being emphasized. This particular new moon also marks the beginning of the Chinese New Year and the Year of the Tiger. Those born under the sign of the Tiger tend to be confident, brave, magnetic, idealistic, thrill-seeking, and they may have the tendency to be arrogant and perhaps selfish. Next, the moon in Pisces conjuncts with Jupiter, also in Pisces, and that could lead to significant financial gains as well as social success. Then, 3rd of February, Mercury returns to its direct movement, no longer retrograde. And the moon in Pisces is sextile with Mercury in Capricorn. That is, they are 60 degrees from each other, leading us to being able to make sound judgments and developing an aptitude for learning, also heightening our communication skills. Then towards the end of the week, we see the male sun in Aquarius sextile with the female moon in Pisces. The communication between the male and the female principles is absolutely fine. No problems arising from that at all. You may well also find that relatives and friends are helpful. Then finally, at the end of this week, the moon moves into Taurus and helps us to preserve and increase money and material possessions. Security is essential to us, and these particular days, our focus is going to be very firmly on family and home. Moving on to the more specific information for Scorpio, you now need to think quickly and take action without delay as and when opportunities knock on your door. The indications for your relationships, both personal and business, show that these could well benefit from using internet sources or to take part in online training sessions. Looking specifically now at your love life, it appears as if you may have the option to meet people either through hobbies that could result in you finding love. And then moving on to the tarot cards, let me just pull out 3 and look at the messages for you for this week, Scorpio. So 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, let's turn them over, see what we've got. Not bad at all. In the first position, we've got the Emperor, and he is pointing out that you would benefit from being mindful about the way you come across to other people. Just bear it in mind. The central card is Justice, that advises that interaction and communication with others is crucial, as is the strength of objective thoughts to restore balance to situations. Then finally, King of Cups. And he advises you to be aware of human nature, as this will certainly be beneficial when working with others and would contribute to the creation of a balanced atmosphere. Okay, so a few things for you to bear in mind, Scorpio. But all in all, not a bad week stacking up for you. That's it from me for this week. I'll be back next week, same place, same time. All that's left for me to say is thank you for attending, thank you for listening, and have a fabulous week. Goodbye. Bye-bye.